Mexico is one of those countries that can feel completely different every time you change cities. One day you are walking past ancient pyramids. The next, you are eating tacos on a busy street, swimming in a cenote, exploring a colorful colonial town, or watching the sunset on a Caribbean beach. And that is what makes Mexico so interesting. It is not just Cancun beach resorts and nightlife. It is a huge country filled with different landscapes, regional foods, ancient civilizations, modern cities, local traditions, and communities that all have their own identity. Mexico is also a place that many travelers misunderstand. Some people only see the resort side of the country. Others hear negative stories and assume the entire country is dangerous. The truth is more complicated. Mexico is enormous, and your experience will depend on the region you visit, the route you choose, and how carefully you plan your trip. In this guide, I will show you how to plan your first visit to Mexico without making it stressful. We will cover Mexico City, Oaxaca, the Yucatan Peninsula, ancient ruins, beaches, food, nightlife, transport, safety, budget tips, and the biggest mistakes first-time visitors make. For many international travelers, Mexico City is the best place to begin. It is busy, energetic, historic, creative, and sometimes a little overwhelming. But once you understand the city, it becomes one of the most exciting destinations in Mexico. After arriving at Mexico City International Airport, the easiest option is usually an official airport taxi, a hotel transfer, or a trusted ride-hailing service where available. Public transport is cheaper, but after a long flight, carrying luggage through a huge city may not be the best way to start your trip. For accommodation, Roma Norte and Condesa are popular because they have cafes, restaurants, parks, nightlife, and walkable streets. Centro Historico puts you close to the major landmarks, while Teotihuacán feels quieter, more colorful, and more traditional. Polanco is modern and comfortable, but usually more expensive. Start your sightseeing in the historic center. Visit the Zócalo, see the Metropolitan Cathedral, walk toward the Palacio de Bellas Artes, and explore the streets around the center. This area can feel crowded and intense, but it gives you a strong first impression of the city. One thing you should understand early is that Mexico City is massive. Do not try to visit 5 different neighborhoods in one afternoon. Traffic can be slow, distances are longer than they look, and rushing will make the city feel exhausting. Choose 1 or 2 areas per day and give yourself time to explore them properly. Chapultepec Park is another place worth visiting. It is much more than a normal city park. It has museums, walking paths, monuments, lakes, and large green spaces. Inside the park, the National Museum of Anthropology is one of the best places to learn about Mexico's ancient civilizations. Coyoacán offers a completely different atmosphere. The streets are colorful, the plazas feel relaxed, and the area is filled with markets, cafes, and older houses. It is also closely connected with Frida Kahlo, but tickets for the popular museum should be booked in advance. For a day trip, visit Teotihuacán. The ancient pyramids are huge, open, and very different from the modern streets of Mexico City. Go early, because the area can become hot and crowded. Wear comfortable shoes, carry water, and prepare for a lot of walking. Now let's talk about food, because food is one of the biggest reasons to visit Mexico. Tacos are the obvious starting point, but Mexican food goes far beyond tacos. Try tacos al pastor, carnitas, barbacoa, birria, tamales, tortas, pozole, enchiladas, chilaquiles, mole, elote, and regional sauces. Street food is everywhere in Mexico City. A good rule is to look for stands that are busy with local customers and prepare food continuously. Start carefully with the salsa because the one that looks the safest may be the hottest. Mexican food is not only about spice. It is about corn, herbs, citrus, smoke, chocolate, slow-cooked meat, and recipes that can change completely from one region to another. The food you try in Mexico City may feel very different from what you find in Oaxaca or the Yucatan. After Mexico City, Oaxaca is one of the strongest destinations you can add to the trip. Oaxaca is famous for its food, markets, crafts, mezcal, architecture, and local traditions. The historic center is walkable and filled with courtyards, churches, galleries, cafes, and street life. This is one of the best places to try mole, tlayudas, memelas, tamales, local chocolate, and mezcal. Visit the markets, but do not treat them like photography sets. Take your time, try something unfamiliar, and speak respectfully with the people working there. Monte Alban is an excellent day trip from Oaxaca City. The ruins sit high above the valley, and the views are almost as impressive as the archaeological site itself. It is calmer than some of Mexico's more famous ruins and gives you another look at the country's ancient history. With more time, you could also continue toward the Oaxaca coast. Puerto Escondido and the surrounding beach towns are popular, but the atmosphere is very different from Cancun. Some areas are built around surfing and local beach life, rather than large resorts. The Yucatan Peninsula is another classic part of a first Mexico trip. This region combines Mayan history, cenotes, colonial cities, tropical weather, and Caribbean beaches. Mérida is a good base for travelers who want more culture and a slower pace. It has colorful streets, plazas, markets, local food, and access to nearby towns and archaeological sites. Chichén Itzá is the most famous attraction in the region. It is impressive, but it can become extremely hot and crowded. Arrive early, carry water, use sun protection, and do not rush through the site, only to take a quick photo. Cenotes are another major highlight. Some are open to the sky, while others are hidden underground or inside caves. Follow the local rules. Avoid touching fragile formations, and choose smaller cenotes when you want a quieter experience. Then you have Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum. Cancun is convenient for resorts, flights, beaches, and nightlife. Playa del Carmen is more walkable and social. Tulum has beautiful coastal scenery and famous ruins, but it can also be expensive, crowded, and much less peaceful than social media makes it look. The important thing is not to judge all of Mexico by one resort area. The country becomes much more interesting when you combine a major city, a cultural destination, ancient history, and a coastal region. Nightlife also changes depending on where you are. Mexico City has cocktail bars, rooftops, clubs, live music, cantinas, and plenty of late-night food. Oaxaca is more relaxed, with mezcal bars, courtyards, music, and long dinners. Cancun and Playa del Carmen offer larger clubs and beach venues aimed at international visitors. When going out, keep things simple. Carry only what you need, watch your drink, avoid isolated streets, and use trusted transportation at night. Safety conditions can change between states, cities, and even neighborhoods, so always check recent local guidance before finalizing your route. Respect is also important. When traveling in Mexico, learn a few basic Spanish phrases. You do not need to speak perfectly, but simple words like hello, please, thank you, and excuse me can make everyday interactions much easier. Ask before taking close photos of people, especially market vendors, artisans, performers, and members of indigenous communities. These are real communities, not attractions created for tourists. When visiting churches or religious festivals, dress appropriately, keep your voice low, and avoid interrupting ceremonies. Something that looks like entertainment to a visitor may have deep cultural or religious importance for local people. Mexico can be affordable, but it depends heavily on where you go. Local food, public transport, markets, and smaller guest houses can offer excellent value. Beach resorts, private tours, domestic flights, nightlife, and tourist restaurants can quickly increase the budget. Tulum and Cancun are often much more expensive than first-time visitors expect. Mexico City and Oaxaca can be easier to manage on a mid-range budget, especially when you eat locally and choose central accommodation. The biggest mistake is trying to cover the entire country in one short trip. Mexico is too large for that. Too many flights, hotel changes, and long transfers will turn the holiday into a transport schedule. For a simple first visit, spend 3 or 4 days in Mexico City. Explore the historic center, Chapultepec, Coyoacán, local neighborhoods, street food, and Teotihuacán. Then spend 2 or 3 days in Oaxaca. Focus on the markets, food, mezcal, Monte Alban, and a slower atmosphere. Finish with 3 or 4 days in the Yucatan Peninsula. Choose Mérida if culture and history are your priority. Or choose Cancun, Playa del Carmen, or Tulum if you mainly want beaches. Add Chichén Itzá and at least one cenote, but leave some free time in the schedule. Mexico is not one simple destination. It is a collection of cities, coastlines, ancient sites, foods, landscapes, and traditions that can feel completely different from one region to the next. It can be loud, peaceful, modern, ancient, affordable, expensive, overwhelming, and unforgettable. Sometimes all in the same day. So take your time, choose your route carefully, try food beyond the tourist menu, learn a little Spanish, respect local communities, use trusted transportation, check current safety information, and leave space for unexpected moments. Because once you walk beside an ancient pyramid, eat tacos from a crowded street stand, hear music in a public square, and watch the evening light fall across a colorful Mexican street, this country becomes very difficult to forget. If this guide helped you, subscribe for more honest travel guides, hidden gems, food experiences, budget tips, and nightlife ideas. And now, I have a question for you. Would you visit Mexico for Mexico City, Oaxaca, ancient ruins, Caribbean beaches, local food, nightlife, or the culture? Write your answer in the comments and tell me which country or city we should explore next.